Are you still thinking this war's biggest impacts are about oil? They're not. They're about food. In Houston, we have a problem. And here's the part almost nobody understands yet. Even if the shooting stopped today, even if the Strait of Hormuz reopened tomorrow morning, the 2026 food crisis is already locked in. And what gets planted or doesn't over the next few weeks determines what shows up on your table this fall. And right now, the system is breaking. Hi, folks. This is Greg Allison here, and we're going to connect some of the dots today that most people are completely missing. This isn't just geopolitics. This isn't just energy. This is the foundation of your food supply, and it's under direct pressure right now. Military analysts are increasingly saying that this Iran conflict could drag out for 90 days or more. Now, that may not sound long, but in agriculture, that's catastrophic timing. Because right now, March through May is the planting window for most of the northern hemisphere. And this is where most of the world's food comes from. And you miss that planting window, and you don't just delay food production, you permanently reduce it. Availability goes down, and prices go up. Modern farming runs on nitrogen, and nitrogen runs on natural gas. And guess where the massive portion of that system flows through? You got it, the Strait of Hormuz. Roughly 35 to 45% of the global urea and ammonia trade. Around 20% of global liquid nitrogen gas, LNG. This is not just fertilizer. That's the raw inputs required to make fertilizer globally. So even countries not importing directly through Hormuz still get hit because their production costs spike. And this goes on right into the global marketplace. The global marketplace drives all of this. So now the question becomes, what happens when the fertilizers do not arrive? And what happens if they don't arrive, especially when the farmers need them the most? Here is the brutal truth. You cannot make up fertilizers later in the season. If corn doesn't get nitrogen early, you don't get full yield. That means lower output per acre. Farmers switch into lower input crops, less corn, less energy intensive crops. Entire harvest projections dropping. Realistically, developed nations can expect a 10 to 20% yield impact. Vulnerable regions can expect 20 to 40% or more. And those impacts, they're starting right now. Now layer in fuel. Hormuz carries about 20% of the global oil supply. If that remains constrained, diesel prices not only spike, they stay up. Tractor operations cost more. Irrigation costs rise and stay up. Food transport costs gets more expensive. Cold storage becomes more expensive and potentially unstable. You got to remember, your food is also processed. It's transported to the storage, transported to the store, and the stores require energy also. Food is basically energy converted into calories. So when energy prices spike, food follows. So now we got the base inputs, the fertilizers, and the fuel all going up and probably remaining up. But even if they don't remain up, like I said, this is baked in. Now, this is where it gets dangerous. It's not just Hormuz. The Houthis have been threatening disruptions at the Bab el Mandeb Strait. If both choke points tighten at the same time, you're effectively squeezed, especially the Asia to Europe trade, general energy flows, fertilizer shipments, food logistics. That's not just inflation. That's system level stress. And what most people will miss is that you won't feel this immediately, not fully. You're seeing some of it, but not the big impacts. The system delays the pain. Timeline. Spring is the planting disruption. In the summer, you get reduced crop outlook. Fall, you have the yields going down and the prices spiking up. In the winter, well, you get shortages in some regions. Yeah, and of course, price spikes. So, what's estimated? 12 to 18% global price increases. 12 to 18%. You lay that on top of everything else the consumers are dealing with today, that's rough. In poor countries, that's catastrophic. And a lot of people on fixed incomes, same, especially people and our more advanced age groups. So it's going to be higher for grains. And meat prices have a time lag because you got to feed the grain to the beef. And so you do have a time lag in the price increase, but you can expect prices to go up at a higher rate when those increases hit. And dairy too. Even if Hormuz opens tomorrow, the damage is already partially done. It's baked in. Why? Because farmers have already made planting decisions. Fertilizer shipments are already delayed. Costs already surged. This is a time lag system. You don't reverse it overnight. Now let's talk about solutions. What's important to you? You need to front load your food. Buy now, not later. Focus on rice, beans, oats, canned protein. Hey, I'm buying some of these chicken breasts and big packs. They're in you can get them at discount now. Get it while the getting's good. These are still priced before the full price shock hits. So now's the time to move. And you need to switch your diet strategy. Expect, meat to increase later, grain products to increase sooner. Adapt early. More legumes, more calorie-dense staples, less dependency on processed foods. Start producing your own food. This is not optional anymore. Even small scale will help you. Potatoes, squash, beans. Think about the three sisters. What's great about the three sisters? The three sisters are typically corn, squash, and beans. I've covered this in other videos in the past. The beauty of this is they all grow synergistically with each other. The squash or sweet potatoes, will provide, especially if you grow winter squash primarily, will provide ground cover for the beans and the corn, help hold and retain moisture in the soil. The corn gives the stalks for use runner beans. And here's the real beauty of it. Corn, beans, and winter squash or sweet potatoes actually store for a long time. I grew a lot of spaghetti squash and pumpkins in my garden here last summer, and I still have a lot of spaghetti squash. It's still really good right now. Here we are knocking on April. It's still good food. So, that can last until you have other things you can grow. And no refrigeration required. It's easy to store. I'm building a root cellar, but I haven't stored any of that stuff in root cellars yet. Yet I still have it. Some of it I put out in my battery building. Some of it's here in the house. But the root cellars will help me a lot that I'm building for next year. So these are things that you need to take into account, and you can prepare for them. So you're not replacing the system. You're buffering yourself against these impacts. So, again, energy buffering also. Food equals energy. So stabilize your power. Protect your freezer. And reduce fuel dependency. This is where solar becomes a strategic advantage, and I am operating on solar. So something to think about. Now for you investors, if you play the markets, domestic fertilizer producers will benefit from this global supply shock. Something to think about. I'm not a financial forecaster, but so all things come at risk, but just something to think about. And so what's a bigger picture warning here? What we're watching right now is the transition from just in time to just in case. Not a good place. And that shift, it is inflationary by design. So let's bring all this together. Uh, the war may last 3 months, maybe more. The planting window is right now. Fertilizer and fuel are constrained, and the prices are high. So the harvest is already partially locked in, which means higher food prices in late 2026 are not a possibility. They are a trajectory going up. Count on it. So what to watch next? Hormuz shipping traffic. You need to watch LNG prices. You need to watch fertilizer availability reports in the Bab el Mandeb Strait disruptions. And for you preppers, people who act early don't feel the shock nearly as much as the people who wait. So, and for those that wait, they pay for it dearly. Now, I'm going to show you something here, my friends, because, you know, we need to get away from these big companies. You know, you need to grow your own food as much as possible, but it's not just food you got to worry about. Like, this stuff you're buying, the food, all your products are filled with contaminants, heavy metals, chemicals, forever chemicals, all kinds of nasty stuff that's not good for you. And the big companies, they don't care about you. The regulators and the government, they got a revolving door with the age, you know, the companies are regulating. They're watching out for each other, not for you. And this is a critical thing that you need to bear in mind. And for this reason, I've come up with some options for you here. And again, we got just 12 companies that are controlling over 550 consumer brands. These are brands that you once trusted. A lot of them used to be great products, but now their mother companies tell them, you know, they got to reduce their costs to get their profit centers up higher. So what happens is that you wind up getting all the bad stuff, the contaminants. And my friends, they determine it is cheaper to settle lawsuits than provide good product in the first place. So, like I said, they don't care about you. They don't care one iota. And this includes all the stuff, you know, your even aftershave. It includes, you know, your soaps, your detergents, your dish detergents. It includes, you know, your sunscreens, all that stuff. And those companies are largely controlled by, they have controlled interest in them by the big asset management companies, and especially companies like BlackRock, which, if you know much about BlackRock and the founder and what he's doing today on the World Economic Forum, and the fact that the World Economic Forum is, you know, essentially financed by these guys, you might want to think where you spend your dollars, because every dollar spent is a vote for a continuation of that system. It's not, yeah, it's the contaminants you're getting, but it's also what you're supporting in the long run. Something to think about real carefully. Well, I got a solution for you, my friends. You can go to this website that I created, switchwithgreg.com, and links will be below, switchwithgreg.com. And in here, again, you can see some of this data. This is for a family-owned manufacturer right here in the good old US of A. Everything is produced here in America. It's non-toxic, extensively tested for safety. Even the cleaners are plant-based, not all this chemical stuff. That's the good news. And this, none of their product, none of their development, none of what you pay goes into advertising. It's not allowed. So that's part of the philosophy here. No advertising. So this is a little background on something about some of the chemicals and lawsuits you're dealing with, some consumer testimonies. So my friends, just go in here and fill out this form, hit enter, it goes straight to me. Just don't go to some big corporation. Your data will not be sold. I have an assistant who's part of the community who's helping me. She'll contact you, Lisa. She's really good. She can bring you into this, walk you through it. So it's a really good deal. Prepwithgreg.com. And your data will not be sold or shared outside. So that's the good news. All right, my friends, I just wanted to point that out to you and let you know that we're in a critical situation here in terms of food pricing and the challenges we're facing as a result of all this stuff. So if you found some value in this, share it. Please share it. This platform, stumps me down quite a bit. So, okay, and here's the thing. Most people are about to get blindsided by this. And so they need this information. That's why you need to share it. This is already in motion. It's going to happen. So stay safe, stay prepared, keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel, and keep growing. Grow your own food. Keep it going. I got tons of videos early on this channel where I show you about how to grow food in such a way you don't have to go to the store and buy fertilizers and buy chemicals. I never do that in anything I grow. My videos are back in the early days of this channel. I did a lot on that. I'll probably be doing some more, and I'm probably going to put that, although, on a different channel. So, my friends, I just want to point these things out to you. Please subscribe, bang the bell, and click all for more notifications in the future. And I just want to say with that, I want to thank everyone for watching, and Greg out.